Have you ever noticed that kids say the darndest things when in a car? It's like there's this imaginary safe wall between the front seat and the back seats. I'm on my way to a vacation in Maine where, yes, we have lobster and clams for our regular holiday reunion when my niece Kelly starts giving us a list of all the wondrous things she has recently learned in kindergarten. Aunt Marie, says Kelly, did you know that nickels are bigger than dimes but worth less? Yes, I knew that. That's wonderful. I'm so excited you're learning wonderful things in kindergarten. Aunt Marie, says Kelly, did you know 2 dimes and a nickel are the same thing as a quarter? I say, why, yes, Kelly, that's wonderful. And she continues going on with this amazing lesson from the point of view of a kindergarten student of coins and what they're worth. Suddenly, out of the blue, without any warning, the conversation starts, and she says, Aunt Marie, did you know that sometimes boys marry boys? Why, yes. And did you know that sometimes girls marry girls? Why, yes. And when they do, people kill them.
I think she's done.
Gonna say, I think we're frozen. I think she's done.
Oh, she was playing with us. She was not frozen. She just chose to freeze. That was an artistic choice.
Right. It's like the end of The Sopranos. What happens? You know? There we go.
All right. So that was Marie. Marie is actually lives in Minnesota, as far as I know. We know some people from Minnesota, Mary. I believe we know at least one person named Howard Lieberman.
Yeah.
People in the storytelling community that we've known in the last couple of years who they're not here tonight, but
they've been here.
We've learned, we've met people in different places. Let me make sure that I'm gonna mute Marie. I think she's got a dog or a cat or a giraffe. Sometimes people have giraffes.
Do they?
Yeah, it's not as popular as it was in like the 70s, but yeah, giraffes are a thing, various animals.
Woodstock giraffe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The time.
I want you, Queen Mary, to think of a question, not to ask now, but during the break in between first round and second round, to ask our storytellers to get them to know. We want to get to know them a little bit better. But I'm going to put you on the spot here. You don't have to say it now, but not the normal question.
Oh, you got it.
I don't want the question of, right, how long have you been doing? What do you do for work? Give us something different. All right.
All right. Just remember you gave that to me.
Right.
You gave that to me.
I'll let you do that. Correct. Okay. Probably not gonna regret it. You know what? You roll with things, and this is what happens.
Exactly.
Our next storyteller, her name is Barbara. She lives in the Chicagoland area. I'm glad she's here because last slam something came up and she wasn't able to join us.
Yeah.
So this slam, obviously she's here. I'm going to spotlight her. And when she's ready, she can unmute and she'll take her time and she'll have some fun.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm back. Kent is driving me home from what is like our 5th or 6th date, and we're just sitting in comfortable, companionable silence. And when we're not sharing comfortable silence, we are enjoying our rambling, easygoing conversations. If this is just another check mark on the list of the ways that we are so compatible. It's like we both like sci-fi and fantasy. He turned me on to Stargate SG-1. I turned him on to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Check. My MBTI personality type is an ENFP, and he is a highly compatible INTJ. Check. I'm an Enneagram Type 7, the enthusiast, and he's a 9, the peacemaker, a great complementary match. Like I'm lightning and he's ground. Check. I'm past a belief in astrology, but I'm an Aquarius. He's a Libra, so check. He is a gonzo, double black diamond skier, skis moguls, and I also ski. Check. But most importantly, he is the same sweet, thoughtful guy on this 5th or 6th date as he was on the first date. Big check for authenticity. So there's nary a red flag in sight, and I'm 99% sure Kent is the man I will marry. And I look over at him, and we're both smiling, and suddenly Kent farts, a silent but deadly, emphasis on the deadly, fart that perfumes the air of the tight interior of his Celica. And my first thought, as I discreetly hit the button to open the window, oh my God, he's already so comfortable with me. He's not embarrassed to fart in my presence. We're further along than I thought. Check and mate. Boom.
Barbara, thank you. Checkmate. And boom. Have we had that before, Queen Mary? Have you heard those? Check it out. We went from Minnesota to Chicago. So our first two stories were in the Midwest.
Midwest.
Our first storyteller ended with this interesting, different type of frozen moment.
Mhm.
And our second story did a checkmate boom.
A checkmate boom.
Have you heard that before? This is like we got new, 2 years in, we're getting new things.
It's amazing the creativity here.
Creativity, artistic choices, checkmate boom. Freeze.
Checkmate boom.
Freeze,
Freeze.
checkmate boom.
Let's see what else everybody else is going to do now. Now there's some pressure
Oh, there's pressure in the moment
in the moment.
to try to. We're here. We're friends. What we want more than anything else is to entertain and have some fun. But it is. Let us remind you, it is a competition.
It is a slam.
Set up that way. It is a slam. So there will be winners, and
Not so winners.
that's a fairly PC way to say it. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Trying to keep it that way right at the beginning. We're at the beginning of the slam. It should deteriorate by the end of it, but sure.
Sure.
Hey, we have Chetter next from Georgia.
Chetter from Georgia. I believe he's one of two storytellers who reside in the Peach State.
Nice.
There he is. He's already unmuted. He's done this before, I think.
Mhm.
Let me spotlight Cheddar. And Cheddar, when you're ready, break a leg, sir.
It was 2013, and I was fresh out of patience with Atlanta, Georgia, and in need of a new zip code. Now, for years, I'd wanted to move to the West Coast, but just didn't have the balls to do so. However, that same year, after having a conversation with two of my friends about my midlife crisis, they said, well, if you don't do it now, you probably never will. So I made up in my mind that the next year, I would not be a resident of Atlanta, Georgia. And true to my word, when March of 2014 came, after having a clean bill of health and a full-time job transfer, I hopped in my 2003 Corolla and made the 3,000-mile journey to the Wild Wild West. My destination, the PDX, Portland, Oregon. A journey that took 4 days, 3 hotel stops, and $200 in gas. However, upon arrival to my newfound home, I was met with a unforeseen circumstance. You see, somebody stole my identity. And because of that, I couldn't get a place to stay for 2 months and wound up residing in a hotel. Now, little did I know that that was the beginning of a series of events, including 2 deaths in the family and a major injury that would ultimately cause me to move back home to Atlanta sooner than I had anticipated. Ba-boom.
Thank you, Cheddar. Queen Mary, you see what's happening here? There's a trend that is being set, and we are around artists. And what do artists do? Well, they create things.
Great. Yeah.
And now it seems, in addition to their stories, we are getting this other thing happening organically-ish.
Mhm.
I'm making it less organic by calling it out.
It's okay. It's all right. You're
Free-
right.
Checkmate, boom, baboom.
Baboom.
Have you heard that one before? Baboom?
I haven't heard baboom here. I think the slam is inspiring people, Shawn. Look what we've done with
Okay.
our with having the slam.
Right.
You know, so you're like, no, I won't take
I'm
credit.
not
for
taking
that.
any credit
But
for
you
inspiring.
should. You should. I would
Baboom.
baboom.
Checkmate, baboom.
Baboom. I'm try those out. I'm gonna try them on. We'll see.
I'm on. See,
Yeah.
maybe you keep some, you let go of others. That's how it
Right.
works. You,
Right.
you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see. Who do we have next? We have Shawn. Shawn's a new.
He's got a great name. Don't love the spelling, but he seems like a nice guy. Shawn, I'm gonna And we didn't name ourselves, Shawn. It's not a knock on you.
That's true.
Spotlighting Shawn. We'll get to know Shawn after a little bit better during the break. We'll have a question. Mary's got a question. Whenever you're ready, Shawn, have some fun.
All right. Okay, so I was 19 years old at Purdue University when it happened. One of the members of our little nerd clan came in and was in a tizzy talking about this adult bookstore that was next to a truck stop off the expressway. And he's talking about how, they had all these pornographic magazines and how the guy didn't card him when he came in, and that there was like these booths with holes in them. And I thought, that's disgusting. Where is it at? So I found myself checking this place out. And while I was there, I met a gentleman who was about 30 years old, and we had our introduction. But from there, he invited me to come to his place. And from that point, we did the deed. And when everything was over and done with, he goes, "Hey, can I show you something?" And so I was like, "Sure." So he pulls out this double-decker cassette player. This was the 90s. And he proceeds to play this homophobic rant. It was this pastor who was condemning gays to fire and brimstone. I mean, just saying all these horrible things. And I'm confused. I'm looking over at him, and he's looked like he's basking in the light of God. And so I asked him, "Is this you?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And it was that day that I learned that it takes all kinds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shawn. I think Shawn's in Illinois.
Chicago.
Chicago, Illinois, Mary. We always got one or two from Chicago here. There's always Chicago.
Chicago, I'm telling you.
You can't get through a slam, and this is a good thing. You can't get through a slam without getting some Chicago and some Boston.
That's true.
It's never not been that way.
I know. Does that mean we don't have things to do, or we have a lot to do and we just, fit this in because we have so much to do?
You are the person who asks the good question. Another very good question. So I'll just let that sit.
Let that hang. Right.
Let it hang a little bit. It's a good question. We can come back later.
We can.
And talk about disposable time issues in Massachusetts if you want. I don't know.
Yeah, that would take a while. And you're just iced tea, so
this is going to be a shock to you. But our next storyteller, guess which state he's from?
Could he be from Boston?
He is from the Boston area. Amazing. His name is Mark. I'm going to spotlight him. Mark, when you are ready, sir, break it.
The only time I saw Mount Rushmore was in the rearview mirror of a Mack truck cab. I was hitchhiking from Wisconsin to California, and this Postal Service semi picked me up just inside the border of South Dakota. And by sunset, we were weaving our way past Mount Rushmore on the highway down to Wyoming. And it got dark, and the stars came out. There was no moon. The headlights flip on. And suddenly Ray says, "Fucking elk." Now, we hadn't spoken in quite a while because I suck at hitchhiking. It helps if you're hitching, you be enchanting and to be entertaining and charming and social, and I'm not. But I mean, fucking elk is a softball. Anybody can pick that up. So I say, "What's wrong with elk?" And Ray says, "It gets real cold at night. They come out, they lay down on the road because the road sucks up the sunlight all day. So don't get worried if there's a lot of bumps." And then he pauses and he says, "I don't even honk anymore. They just stand up and ruin my grill." And at that point, I completely ran out of things to say. And it's when you're hitchhiking through the Badlands, beggars can't be choosers. Chickaboom.
Thanks, Mark. Mary, did you catch that?
Chickaboom.
Chickaboom.
Chickaboom. Oh my goodness, this group
It has become a thing now. It might even develop. Who knows?
Yeah.
Boom might be replaced one day entirely.
I know. I don't know though.
Maybe, yeah. I should remind people, I think everyone here knows, you can use the chat because for now everyone's muted. And it is, some people are using the chat to give feedback or respond to the stories, which is nice. A lot of nice, kind words.
Yeah,
Because it should be noted, everyone here knows this. So, I mean, I'm going to state the obvious, but this does take some courage.
oh, heck yeah.
These are challenging, little challenging stories in the first place.
Yeah.
And then you're coming on here and you're some strangers and you're being judged. And some of these are especially vulnerable. So kudos to those that are involved in this way.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you all. And for those who are here supporting them, that's even better. We appreciate that too. Feel the love, y'all. Feel the love on this hot May night.
I have a question and then we'll go on to our sixth storyteller.
Go for it.
Who's supporting you this evening?
Who's supporting me?
Well, they have people maybe supporting them. Who's supporting Queen Mary?
I think first of all, Shawn, you are, because but
That's right.
also I think this whole audience. Oh, look at that, Sharon.
Sharon supporting you. Yeah.
And listen, if Sharon's supporting me, I'm all set. I know this
Yeah.
group. Anybody in this group, I'm all set. So
Okay, you got one, so you're good.
I'm good. How about you? Oh, MJ. Look at this. Look at what you just did.
I created an entire another thing here. Apparently,
Yes.
everyone's hailing the Queen, supporting the Queen.
Right. Right.
A lot of love. A lot of love.
It's true. See, you did that again. You did that.
Okay, I'd say great.
See, now you're like, stop embarrassing me. Let's
Stop
move on.
Guess
Okay.
where we're going? We're going from Massachusetts, not to Illinois. We're actually going back down, not on a midnight train here, but we are going to Georgia. We are going to ask that Christine unmutes herself, which she already has. I'm going to spotlight her. When she is ready, she will take her time and she will tell us a story.
Yay.
Long time ago when I was a little girl, we'd go to church, right? And my mother would get happy. She would cry. In my eyes, why would you cry if you're happy? I think of crying as either a whipping, you're hurt, or you're angry about something. Happy tears? What's that? Not as a child. Well, I got this beautiful puppy as an adult. And I named this puppy Prudence, wisdom. I had this roommate in college named Prudence. And Prudence, my roommate, would always be worried about me. At that time, we had curfew. I was never in on curfew time on the weekends, and Prudence would be worried about me. She saved me, no doubt. Well, I named this dog Prudence. And if Prudence were around somebody with me that she didn't like, it was, Well, if I had listened to Prudence, I wouldn't have married the first husband, because every time he was around me, Prudence was, So, but it was man or beast, and I chose the man, as fate would have it. Nevertheless, I gave Prudence away because, I chose the man. Well, I got this letter from the new owners. They were in North Georgia, as though Prudence had written, and there I was, boo-hooing over my happy tears from Prudence.
There it is. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
In Georgia, Mary, she's in Georgia. Oh, that's why I don't sing. Now you know.
You just roll
Now you
your
know.
belly.
Now you know why Sean's not a singer. Thank you, Christine.
You're a performance artist, Shawn.
Sure. We can call me whatever you want.
I've seen it. So I know
Okay.
that.
But I mean, the way people use the word performance art, that can mean anything. And respectfully, I appreciate it. I know that you're.
I'm being very respectful, my friend.
Oh, I know.
Yes, I know. And so Prudence the dog. See, we can't see Prudence because Prudence not here, but I did see Finnegan, so I'm feeling good.
We I like we've got I like we've got more and more. We've heard a lot of 99-second stories over the last many months or years.
Yeah.
And they're always good. They're always interesting. They're always compelling. They're always yeah.
Yeah. No, there's still people come in. I always think of, we're going to have a good show. And I never really ask that anymore because the stuff that comes in is amazing. The stories are all amazing. So all of them.
But you got a story too about those tattoos.
Oh, of course I do.
There you do.
Yeah, I do.
People will hear it someday.
Of course. It might take longer than 99 seconds, but sure.
Do you know where we're going next?
I think we're going to Arizona.
We're going to the great state of Arizona. There's many.
Arizona.
We don't need to know why the plural of cactus is cacti, but one I would like to know that at some point.
Mm,
Mary
good.
Jo Pollack is here. Hello, Mary Jo. Whenever you're ready, young lady, break a leg.
I'm sitting across the desk from this 20-something marketing manager who's interviewing me for a job. I'm on the cusp of 50. It's 1997. Mary Jo, we were really excited to see your resume that you had worked for Movo. I'm sure they were glad to see my resume because Movo was one of the originators of telephone and computer dating services way back in the 80s. And here I am at Match.com. He reviewed my resume one more time and said, it's too bad that you don't have any sales experience. And I said, well, did you notice there was 18 years of real estate sales when I was in Southern California? Oh, well, I guess that counts. I slammed my hands on the desk and stood up and said, this interview is over. End scene. Boom.
I've seen boom. And seen boom. All right, Mary Jo ends the interview. The story's over. There's a boom, boom. Thank you, Mary Jo in Arizona. I would think it's a safe bet that Mary Jo, regardless of where she lives in Arizona, is probably, and I know this is going to sound absurd, but she can see a cactus.
Probably right from her window. I would agree that
She can probably see. She can probably see a cactus.
Yeah, or two.
Like legitimately.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like being up in Boston and seeing a crooked cop. Was that a bad analogy?
A little bit.
I'm going to get in a lot of trouble right now. I just got myself in a lot of fucking trouble. Sorry.
What I'm going to say is it's like being in Boston in the wintertime and not expecting to see snow. Good luck with that. You will always see snow.
That's better than my crooked cop comment.
It's okay. I love you anyway, boo.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go. Let's welcome our
get out of this. Yes.
eighth. Yeah, let me get the hell out of this thing I created. Last storyteller of round one. Then remember, if you didn't go over time, Mary will do a review or a recap, and we will vote, and then we'll have a little quick break, and then we'll start round two in reverse order. Let us welcome out in California, Ms. Neshama Franklin. There she is.
Oh, shirt's on. There we go.
There she is.
When my husband John died, I knew it was time for a new bed, and I knew exactly what I wanted. A sleigh bed, you know, the one with a high headboard and the curved footboard. Like it would carry me into my dreams. And I hate to shop, but there was in a nearby town a weird kind of cavernous emporium. And there up against the wall was the front and the back of, my sleigh bed. And I took it home and I put it together, and my grandchildren visited. They weren't very big. And, you know, when there's a bed, if you're a kid, you jump, and they jumped 2 or 3 times and the thing collapsed. And I was devastated. Could this be a portent of my new life? Well, I went back to that emporium and I said, you sold me what I thought was the bed of my dreams, and it collapsed on me, and I can get it fixed for $300. And if you cut me a check, I won't say a thing in my town. And if you don't, your reputation will be mud. With a check in my hand, I got the bed fixed. I sleep in it every night. And sure enough, it carries me into dreamland. And it's sturdy, and it makes me extraordinarily happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Neshama. 8 stories, 8 storytellers from various places in the continent. Actually, I think it's just the United States, this particular slam.
Yeah, it's okay.
Very good news.
Yeah.
Nobody went over.
Delightful.
Which means now everybody will have a chance to vote once after Mary will read a little recap, a little quick summary, a little blurb Then we will put a poll out. Everybody will get just one vote. I know that's especially challenging with 8 stories, but you get one vote. Mary, when you're ready, and then remember after this, you get a question. It might be one question for all the 8 tellers, or it might be one each. It's up to you. I'm asking a lot of you this evening.
That's okay. I got to earn my money. I get it.
Fair. All right. Let us start with, we'll go in order that they told. We'll start with Marie.
All right. So Marie had her wonderful niece telling her about coins that she learned about in kindergarten. And then all of a sudden the conversation turned to marriage between LGBTQ and what happens to them sometimes, which isn't good. Barbara, you never knew a fart would bring 2 people together and you would know you want to marry them. But in Barbara's case, that's what happens. Chetter took $200, 4 days and 3 hotels to get to the wild, wild west, but had some things happen that he had to turn around and come back to Atlanta. Shawn had a wild time with who he thought may be a love connection, but actually turned out to be a pastor with different views. Mark wanted to see Mount Rushmore and was hitchhiking and then learned about the fucking elk on the highway.
Okay.
Christine chose the man over the beast, and poor Prudence was given away to someone else, but still made contact even after she was gone. MJ ended an interview with a 20-something who didn't think her 18 years of real estate experience was relevant in sales. I probably would have ended that too. And Neshama has this lovely sleigh bed that might have broken because of her grandchildren, but she was going to make sure their reputation was not as good if they didn't fix it for her, or at least pay her to fix it. And she did, and goes off to dreamland every night.
All right. Let me just finish up these little.
Okay.
All right.
See, sometimes I'm too good. I get it.
You're very good. All right. I think I've done a good enough job here. The names, the same order, a word or two. We're going to save it and we're going to launch it. And hey, listen, we really do need everyone to vote tonight because
we do.
Look, I mean, we've got 8 names here and you only get 1 vote. Ooh, hang on 1 second. Let me just do one thing. I got to make sure I get something right here.
Okay.
Hang on. Hang on. Appreciate everybody's
patience. Kindness.
Kindness. Yes.
Anticipation.
Anticipation.
All of that was yes, Mark, that was planned just to draw it out. Here we go. We've got choose your favorite. Everyone vote. And you start now.
Oh, look at that poll.
Yeah, that's a big poll.
That's a big poll. And look at all these keywords. It's amazing.
I mean, it's your work.
Well, I try to help make your job easier, Shawn.
I do appreciate that.
Of course.
All right. We've got, I'm going to make sure I'm writing these down because we're doing this a little differly.
I'm going to do the same.
Are you? All right.
Yes, of course.
2, 1, 1. Make sure we have.
Don't say them out loud.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry. I wasn't going in any particular order. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have one more person who can vote? So that would be cool if you could do that. I know maybe you're.
Yeah. Could you come back to the computer and put your vote in, please, person, sir, ma'am, they?
All right, we'll give it another 10 seconds. And if they don't vote, then they don't vote.
And they don't vote. And that's okay. We're not going to get mad at it.
Okay.
It's all right. We've got the numbers. We're good.
All right. We're going to end this now. Now, Mary, I'm going to end this poll.
Okay.
Have you written down what you need to write down?
I did. I'm good.
Okay. And now, before we go in reverse order and do it all over again in reverse order, I asked if you would to ask our storytellers.
Yeah.
And you know all 8 of them, right?
Yeah.
Question, which could be the same question, different question, to come up with anything that I will approve of.
Well, I mean, no, probably not.
Probably
But
not.
my question was to ask about where folks got their names, if they were named after somebody, if it's a family name, all that kind of stuff.
I love it. So do you want to ask them?
Yeah, we can do that. So you want to go in order?
Sure.
Miss Marie, how did you get your name?
Irish Catholic family. Hail Mary, full of grace. Marie Grace.
Marie Grace. Beautiful. I'm Marianne, so I get it. Catholic school was not easy in my life.
Okay.
No. Barbara, how did you get your name? Is Barbara here? Oh, there she is.
It's okay if she's not.
Sorry, I have to find my little.
That's all right.
Actually, Barbara was my mother's middle name, and she liked it so much, but she did not know that that was her Irish great grandmother's first name. And I was fortunate I was named that because we didn't know their names, but I was able to find her in the census, 1920 census, when I kind of figured maybe she was named Barbara because they kind of do that, the Irish naming system.
Mhm.
Boom. So
Oh,
had she named me something else, I might still be searching.
yeah, see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very cool, Barbara.
Cheddar.
Cheddar. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
my parents, my mother particularly, was being creative when she put together my name. All of us have either a unique first name or middle name, or like me, I got the combo deal with a unique first and middle name.
Nice. Do you want to share your middle name?
Yeah, what's the middle name?
Okay, it's pronounced Misha, but it's spelled Mysia.
Ooh. Fancy. And screwing up computers all over the world, Cheddar. I get it.
Yes, word is not my friend.
No. Are you sure you spelled your name right? I'm sure I spelled my name right. Stop it, right?
All day.
All day.
Autocorrect is your enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. And now Shawn with an H. Mr. Shawn, how did you get your name? Oh, you're muted, my love. We want to hear this, so.
Yeah.
Well, my parents passed relatively young, so I didn't get to get any kind of history behind it. I've always loved my name, though. Shawn, and my middle name is Christopher and Cobb, so I just thought it had a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
That is a nice name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. I don't know how the pastor felt about it, but you know,
Right.
Oh,
he was extra. We'll just say it that way. He was extra.
mhm.
Mr. Mark, how about you,
I
sir?
honestly don't know. I mean, I'm the only kid in my family who's not named after grandparents on either side.
Huh.
My middle name is like third cousins, but I have no idea where Mark came from.
Oh. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's all right too. You could just make up a story,
Good to make it.
you know, to try some different stories out. There you
Yeah.
go. Miss Christine.
I'm glad you asked about the name because I tried to change the first letter and my mother got totally out of control. I wanted to use the K.
Yeah.
She says, no. I named you after my friend. Well, I was good and grown, so I thought I could change it, but because the K has a lot of ethnic history to it. The
Mhm.
Krishnas, the Hare Krishnas.
Yep.
But then I found out my name means raw, light. So I thought I'd just keep it, but I actually have some other authentic names that I use. And I don't see the need to go and ask someone if I can change my name,
Mhm.
like legally go and document. I use another name, Olufemi. It is a Yoruba name. I'm not a Yoruba,
Mhm.
but I like the word of Yoruba. I like the name Olufemi. It means God loves me. So if nobody else loves me, God does.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Just
Mm.
between me and God, right?
that's right. That's right. It's beautiful. Thank you, Christine.
Christine was my mother's good friend, she said, and I did meet her. She came to meet me. I didn't know the lady was a good friend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. That's very
Story.
It's a good story. Yeah. And unfortunately, the K has now been over, all that K stuff's been taken over by the Kardashians, unfortunately.
I know.
Right? So we don't need that.
I know.
No. But you were doing that even before the Kardashians. So you would have been
I
the
think-
original. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You, Miss MJ. Oh, you're muted. And I know not to call you Mary. Not just
Don't
Mary.
call her Mary.
Don't call her Mary. Mary
Do
Jo.
not call her Mary.
No. She's not a fan. Just FYI to everyone. You might already know that though. It's around the storytelling community. No Mary.
I was named after my great grandparents, Mary and Joseph. You can ask for a nice married Jewish couple, but that could be how it was translated from whatever it was in their original language.
Which was?
Russian.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Oh, because I didn't say that. I just said
Okay.
And I I wanted to change the spelling of my name when I was in high school to Merriejough, and my parents didn't let me do it.
They're like, no,
No.
don't think so, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's nice. When you're over 18 and not living in our house, you can go do that.
Mhm.
I don't know if I've heard, I used to hear that. I'm just saying, I don't know. It sounds like you might have heard that too, but
Something along that line.
something along those lines. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, MJ. And Neshama.
Shama rhymes with pajama. That's all we know for sure.
We know that.
It's a 99-second story.
Don't do it. You're not allowed to say it here. No, you can.
I didn't like the name they gave me, Susan, because everybody else was named Susan. And then they made the mistake of telling me I had another name, a Hebrew name, a ceremonial name. And I said, that's my name. And I seized it. And I've been Neshama ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Love that. Christine's applauding for you. I love that. I love that.
Take over the name. Mary, what would be your ceremonial name if you had one, do you think?
Well, Queen.
Right.
Queen Mary. Why would
Sure.
I change that?
You wouldn't.
Why would I break it? Shawn, what about you? What about your name?
Shlomo. Miss Shama's surprised. My name was Shawn. We don't know why, which pretty much sums up my parents' marriage. Nothing made sense, and it was a mistake. I'm not saying I was a mistake. I'm not saying. Hang on, let's back up. I'm not saying I was a mistake. It was not a good marriage. I think that the fact that they were like, whatever, just name them whatever, is reflective, perhaps, of the dynamics in that relationship. Since they got divorced, they got remarried. Fine, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
They didn't get remarried to each other. They got married to different people.
I figured that.
Trust me.
I figured it wasn't a Richard Burton.
Yeah, you don't want to do that shit again.
Taylor thing. No.
But I actually don't know the story. A more perhaps interesting story, and it's not going to be told because I don't know it.
Okay.
Is my last name as a Jew having a last name Wellington is is not a common thing. And we don't actually know why it is Wellington. That my father doesn't know, his side doesn't know. So presumably it was changed. And not it wasn't like Wellingtonburg and shortened. It was just completely changed somewhere at some point. But we've never been able to figure out why. And I have to say, much like Shawn likes his name, I like the name Wellington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People think I have money.
Oh, even better.
And then they get to know me and then they learn. Oh, do they learn?
So, Shawn, being as Irish as I am, I need to ask, you're a Jewish leprechaun?
Correct.
I love it.
I am a leprechaun.
Leprechaun. I love it.
Oh my God.
You can use that if you want. You can use that. It's fine. It's a gift. Leprechauns are here.
Leprechaun. Oh Lord.
The special Leprechaun edition of the 99-second story slam this evening.
There you go.
Hey, look, 2 years in, we got to get super creative sometimes. You can do things a little bit differently.
Hey, it was fine.
That was fun. Thank you, Mary, for asking that very interesting question.
Thank you.
I would have probably said something much lamer, like what you decided to ask a question that I think is much more interesting than I would have asked.
Well, Shawn, I used to be a corporate trainer and I used to have to do icebreakers all the time. So that was kind of easy. You kind of softballed one to me. You didn't know that, but you did.
I knew that you were a corporate trainer.
Yeah.
You didn't know that I played for many years competitive softball in Central Park. So do you see what's happening here? Do you see what the dance at softball? Easy done. Okay.
It's just happening. Yes. By the way, I'll just explain about my last name, which is not on
Yeah.
Dalba. Dalba is Italian.
Yeah.
Some people think it's Spanish, but it's actually Italian.
Yeah.
So Alba means light and D apostrophe means of. So I am Mary of the light.
Mm-hmm.
But on the side note of that, Napoleon was exiled to the island of Alba in Italy on his second and last time.
Oh, great. Right. Alba.
Right. Alba. So, there's some feelings around that, I think, for some people, but I carry the Mary of the light. So
not Mary. Right. So I could be off on here. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you clearly. You're not a Jaleprechaun?
I'm not a Jaleprechaun.
Okay.
No.
Just-
Very, I call my mother the saint, Shawn. Hello.
I'm pretty sure jaleprechaun.com is available. I should probably
You
try
should
to
get it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then just that's a game changer.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to go backwards. Round 2 is going to be similar to round 1, other than reverse order, new stories, different stories. But other than that, you're going to listen. Hopefully they won't go over. I'm sure the stories are going to be amazing. Mary will do a recap. We'll have another vote, and then we'll have a winner. And of course, you're all welcome to hang out after. We tend to just hang out after a little bit and chat, whether it's about the stories or other stuff. So that's an invitation. Either way is all good.
Yeah.
And just to remind everyone, I think they probably know this. So the order in round 2 will be Neshama, Mary Jo, Christine Mark, Shawn Chetter, Barbara Marie. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We down? We good?
We're good. I got him. We're ready to go.
You got the order. I've got the clock. Let's welcome back to the stage. We know the story of her name now, but we don't know the story she's about to tell because she hasn't told it yet. Break a leg.
I invited my daughter to stay overnight, and I gave her my bed. And in the morning, she said, you know, your mattress is really hard. She had forgotten that she had given it to me 30 years ago. But she said, you know, I have an extra Tempur-Pedic mattress pad. Would you like to try it out? And I said, sure. But there was a problem because I have these old sheets that I love, and the mattress is fat enough. And it's a wrestling match to get those suckers over the mattress as it is. So I had to use a sheet I didn't like very much to kind of get them all together. And it was kind of softer, but it kind of slid around. So it wasn't certainly perfect, but kind of intriguing. And then it was my birthday, and I said, time to change the sheets. And when I looked more carefully at the mattress pad, I saw that that thing that was folded underneath it was really a kind of like a skirt or a girdle. And if I hoisted up the mattress and fitted it over from pad to mattress, it snugged it all up, and those old sheets fit perfectly. And finally, I had what I called a coherent bed, with firmness underneath, with softness from my daughter. I sleep very well, and every time I turn over, I give thanks.
Thank you, Neshama. Neshama lives up in Northern California, Mary.
Ooh.
I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that. I knew she was in California, but not exactly where. So that's good to know.
She lives up in Northern California.
Yeah.
And
I've only visited Southern.
we've now heard 2 stories from her this evening, and they're both around there's beds involved. She's got beds on the brain.
Yeah.
Bed.
New sheets, Neshama. It doesn't matter whether it's your birthday or not. Ladies should always have nice new sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And gentlemen too.
Yeah.
Whoever. Yeah. Bed. That's great. We're getting comments. It's a good thing, Shawn. This is
Comments are good. Always. Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Next up.
Yeah. Who you got?
Ms. Mary Jo Pollack, who lives near Cacti.
Yes.
Mary Jo, when you're ready.
Lots of cacti. I'm heading to lunch on my last day of a very fucked up vacation in Venice, Italy. I'm going toward the docks where I hear that the fishermen every day bring in their catch. I think I'll get a really good seafood meal. I find a little place that's open. It's kind of an odd hour, so not much is open. Maybe there's 10 or 12 tables, a couple other people in there. And the menu's in English, but I had questions. So I got the Italian-English book out of my bag, and I started asking the waiter a couple of questions, and I'm pointing, and then he's looking, and then he goes to the Italian-English part, and he's pointing, and I'm listening, and we go back and forth a number of times until we have the order for my lunch, which was one of the best meals I've ever had in my life, the freshest seafood. And as I'm getting ready to leave the restaurant, I know that you're not supposed to tip in Italy, but he went above and beyond. He was just so sweet and darling that I put €5 on the table. And I walked out, and then just a moment later, I hear, Signora, Signora. I turned around. He's walking toward me, holding a Venice tourist guide that's in English someone had left behind. Grazie. Grazie.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Mary, I don't think you knew Mary Jo spoke Italian, did you?
I did not know that.
You see what you learn here? You learn about people through their stories.
Through the stories.
Through the stories. Yeah. I mean, we learned about them because you asked a very good question earlier. And now we're learning about stories. In round 2, we learned more about beds, bedheads.
And bedheads and
grazie, which is another way to end a story. We've got new ways of ending stories, which are always challenging.
And boom in Italian's just boom.
Boom. Boom, grazie. Boom, grazie. Boom, grazie. Shut up your mouth. All right, cool. Next up, Christine, is that right?
Christine.
Do I have that right? All right, I'm going to spotlight Christine. She's already unmuted. And Christine, whenever you're ready.
I call myself a WBGG, a wannabe great gardener. So years ago, I have a garden in the back out here. Y'all can't see it, but it's out there. But I was told by a professional gardener, you need to get that pine tree down because the pine cones are going to kill everything. Nothing will grow. So I summons the tree man. He says, oh yeah, I can take it down, Christine, but it's going to have to go over your fig tree and your garden. I said, forget it. So I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do? So it rained, and Atlanta can have some torrential rains. We're expecting one tonight, as a matter of fact. I just threw that in. But anyhow, so I went outside after that rain and the wind. And the very place that I wanted it to fall, the tree man had told me, no. But when I went out after the storm, the tree had fallen in the very place that I wanted it to. Not over my fig tree and not over the garden. Nature's way is wonderful.
Thank you, Christine. What about that? Nature's way is wonderful. And Mary, by the way, check out that cool painting or photograph or something behind Christine. Is kind of pretty cool, huh?
Let me look. Yeah.
We like that.
Oh, we do. We do look around your house too. I hate to tell you. Sorry.
Look, I mean, we should only be assessing or evaluating the stories.
I know,
but look, we're human. We might be influenced by other things about the person, what's behind them, what's around them. I mean,
it happens.
How can it not happen?
It's true.
I mean, look, let's say this. Let's be fair. If I were in this story slam, this one or another one, I tell my first story, right? And people think what they think. Then they learn that I'm a leprechaun. Of course, my scores are going to go up for the round 2. See, and maybe it wasn't even as good a story.
Right. But because you're a leprechaun?
Because I'm a leprechaun, most people probably look at me more favorably.
This is the Nigerian family. I bought it when I was married to the first husband.
Okay.
And Prudence said,
Okay. She's tying it back to Prudence.
Yeah, she's tying it back to Prudence. Yeah, see, Prudence knew. Prudence knew, Christine. I got you.
We digress.
A
good digression. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
We're going
back to Massachusetts.
Georgia, Southeast, popping up and over Massachusetts. It's not a state, Mary. It's a Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Here he is, and it's not the only one apparently, but
that's right.
Yeah. Here he is again, Mr. Mark, who doesn't know where his name comes from.
Children are born not knowing of moderation or consequences. They have to be taught, usually the hard way. One glorious summer day when I was 5, my mom came home from the grocery store with this giant bag of cherries, like 1-2 pounds worth. and I loved cherries. I grabbed the bag and I stole it and I ran outside with it. And I plopped myself down and I started eating. And I mean, I was stuffing my face. I was such a pig. I decided about a third of the way through that it just took too much time to spit out every single bit. So I just started swallowing. And that saved so much time. In 15, 20 minutes, I'd finished the whole bag. And honestly, I was kind of proud of myself. I mean, it was kind of like the Nathan's Hot Dog Championship with cherries. And my mom was a little annoyed that nobody else got cherries, but I'm 5. To me, that's like an extra accomplishment. You might guess where this is going. To put this in adult terms, I had just eaten an entire carton of Metamucil and a bag of marbles. And for the next 3 very uncomfortable days, my education began. Boom.
Thank you, Mark in Mass. Mark.
Mhm.
You know where that was going, did you, Mary?
No, I didn't. Wow, Shawn, you are on fire tonight.
Shawn or Mark?
You are.
Yeah.
You with your stuff. You know, I mean, all of our storytellers are on fire tonight. I mean, that is how it
Of
goes.
course, sure.
You know, as hosts, we have to keep it going. You are on fire, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate that. And you know me well enough to know that sometimes I need that kind of validation.
I do, which is why I just threw it in there.
Yep.
Yeah, before we go to
100%.
Chicago,
Marbles, huh? Marbles. Like I know. I mean, have you ever eaten marbles?
Probably when I was a kid, I probably did. Yeah.
Probably. Maybe
Yeah.
stuck one in your ear.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I was a very curious kid that couldn't be controlled well. So that should tell you a lot.
Hasn't changed much, has it?
No. I need that confirmation sometimes too, Shawn.
Yeah. Not a lot has changed. Come on.
Mm-mm.
Little Mary. Can we all picture little Mary?
Glasses and pigtails, y'all.
All right.
Big berets and glasses. Yeah.
Catholic school, of course.
Catholic school.
Of course. Come on.
Of course.
Of
12
course.
years. And this is what has happened after 12 years.
Yes.
I'm just
Boom.
going to say that.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there. All right. Back into Chicago. Of course, Chicago is Shawn. Spotlight him. Story number 2, Mr. Shawn. Break a leg.
All right. We definitely poked a bear, or bears rather. Myself, my next door neighbor and BFF, Larry Jones, and our friend Corey from 4 houses down took the liberty of making fun of the Carradines, 3 big, awful girl bullies, while they were on punishment. And needless to say, once they were off punishment, our bloodshed was the only thing that was on their minds. You had LaWanda, well, you had Tammy was the youngest. She was practically mute, but that didn't stop her from being the one that held your hands back while the mouth of the operation, LaWanda, would punch you in the gut. Then you had Constance, who was a head taller than any of us and who had a punch or a kick that would send you right back to voluntary household chores in an instant. They came at us. Tammy and LaWanda grabbed Larry. Larry tried to escape on his bike. Tammy and LaWanda grabbed him by his hair and pulled him off. Constance gave Corey such a swift kick in the gonads that it lifted him off the ground. And me, I ran to tell my mama. Mama was in the middle of doing dishes. And I told her what happened. And she said, and you didn't hit them back? I said, well, no, you're not supposed to hit a lady. And she said, if they're bad enough to hit you, they're bad enough to get hit back. So I walked right up to her and pow.
Thank you, Shawn. Mary's face was, woo, okay. Mary, you weren't expecting that either. We've got a lot of good surprises in tonight's stories, which is usually a good sign of a good story.
Excellent story.
We
Yeah.
love to be surprised. And he ended it with a pow.
And a pow.
Not a boom.
Not a chicken
Not
boom.
a chicka boom.
No.
Not a freeze boom.
Not a freeze boom.
Not a checkmate boom.
Or a sign or a face.
Boom checka checka boom.
So
Or free, yeah, just a pow boom.
right. Or even like a mic drop. We haven't had that yet. I mean,
I think
it's a
you
very
did.
creative group.
Indeed it is. We
It
love it.
is.
Appreciate it. Good stories, good people, we think,
Agreed.
and creative, among other things.
Among other things.
And hey, man, I mean, everyone here has made it through some difficult times for sure.
That is also
I
true.
mean, so that's a testament, hey,
Yeah.
kudos to them.
And they're
Kudos
here
to
to
us.
tell stories. So
Kudos for the struggle. Next up is Chetter. When I say Chetter, I feel like I want to say Cheddar.
well, for Boston, yeah, Chetter.
Even New York, like Cheddar,
Chetter.
but it's not. It's Cheddar.
Chetter. Right. I try to make sure the R comes out because my accent is pretty heavy.
And then and if you're in England, it would be a hard T, but it's not here. It's just something to think about.
Chetter. Yes.
Exactly.
Where's Claire when we need her? Right.
She'll be, yeah, she can help us. All right. He's been patient. Chetter, break a leg.
When I worked at the old spaghetti factory restaurant, nobody wanted to wait on the cab driver, and there were several reasons why. He always came in 30 minutes before closing and usually sat in my section. Now, he was a bit of an intimidating person, about 6'3", 200 and some change, with this very gruff accent. He always ordered the same thing, which wasn't the problem. The problem was how he ordered it. He wanted his lasagna with the top shells pulled off and extra sauce, chicken marsala, extra sauce, salad, extra Thousand Island, no croutons, 2 loaves of extra warm bread, 1 glass of room temperature water, 1 pitcher room temperature water, 3 napkins, ice cream for dessert. And that's the way it had to be, every time, to meticulous precision. And when it wasn't done that way, there was hell to pay. Many a time, servers would come back to the kitchen, slamming down their trays, kicking the cabinets in tears and near tears, because he had tore them a new one because they got his order wrong. Now, usually when someone does something like that, there's a reason why. And the cab driver was no different. I mean, it was something really we should have noticed first off, but we didn't because of where he sat in the restaurant in the dark. You see, the cab driver ordered his food that way because, well, he didn't have any teeth. B-O-O-M, boom.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to put up my sign. Mary, you set it up. You said this is a creative group, and you're getting exactly what you set up.
Oh, so happy about that. Look, the law of the universe is working. Look at how that works.
Yeah.
Put it out there and you get the returns.
B-O-O-M.
Boom.
And you know what? Whether you're in New England or New York or Georgia or across the pond, boom is boom.
Boom is boom.
Boom
Boom
is
is boom. I think we should have t-shirts made up. Boom is boom.
Boom is boom.
Boom is
It's
boom.
the inside joke, though.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
For a
it's fine.
cult.
Sometimes we need
For a
that.
cult, it's great.
Oh, well, I mean, this
Okay.
isn't storytelling, isn't it? All right, never mind.
All right, move on. Okay. You're yeah. I was just about to ask a question about your upbringing in cults, but I won't do that now.
Oh, we'll
do that
start
now.
in the salon afterwards.
We'll do it in the salon.
In the
Our
salon.
final 2 storytellers have been exceptionally patient because the way we did it this evening,
Yes.
first and last. So it's Barbara and then Marie. Let's find, we're going back to the Midwest, and that's where we're going to stop tonight.
Yes.
Barbara is there. She did end up marrying Kent, I believe his name was. We found out a lot more about stories and the storytellers in the chat.
Mhm.
But this is not that story. This is a different story. Barbara, break a leg.
Late one night after dining and quaffing lots of beer at Goose Island Brewery, my then boyfriend Kent and I discover his car has been towed from a spot we thought was legal. Now, I was a happy 3+ sheets in the wind until that point. Kent's not upset and he just treats it as a minor inconvenience. But getting towed to me is automotive kidnapping, and it always leaves me feeling vulnerable and violated and then angry. And on the cab ride over to the lot, I just am stewing in an impotent rage that's dialed up to an 11 because of all the beer I drank. Well, Kent pays the ransom, and while we're waiting for his car to be liberated, I just can't stop myself from venting my anger on the lot's gate attendant. In my drunken state, I am deluded into believing that I am as fearsome as I am angry. So I throw a wobbly karate sidekick in his general direction and I hiss, "I know karate. I'm a brown belt first, cue." And the man just rolls his eyes and walks away from me, who's probably the umpteenth drunk, angry person he's dealt with that evening. Well, the next morning I wake up at Kent's and I'm reeling from a head-pounding hangover mixed with intense shame over my cringeworthy behavior the night before, and convinced that since I feel so disgusted with myself, so must Kent. And I turn to him and I start to stutter an apology, but he stops me and smiles and kisses me and says, "Forget about it, Barb, it's okay." And my pain is eclipsed by the miracle that even after I made a total ass of myself, and even when I didn't love myself, Kent still did. Boom.
Thank you. The patient Barbara Peterson in Chicago area.
Patient is usually not a word associated
Hey,
with me.
we are working on ourselves as well here. We're doing many things. It's not just stories.
No,
We're working on ourselves.
we are.
What choice do we have, really?
No, we don't. Because then we're not as interesting. you
Right.
know? There we go.
By the way, had been to Chicago, but not didn't really know it until last fall. I like that city.
I haven't been.
I like
I
that
hear
city.
it's a lovely.
I went and it wasn't too cold. I feel like if I went in January, I would not like that city.
Not so much. Not so much.
Not as much.
No, no. And by
Call
the
me
way,
soft. Call me soft. Call me a leprechaun. I don't care. Call me a soft leprechaun if you have to.
soft
Give a
leprechaun.
shit.
But you
Tell me
have a
what
hat from Peru, so I mean, I would think you'd be able to handle the weather in Chicago.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're fine.
What you got to do?
You have the hat, and probably more than one.
Probably two.
Yeah. See, I knew that.
Mhm.
I knew that. Soft serve.
Okay. Mark, you're out of the competition. Mark's out.
Mark's out.
Mark's
Oh,
out.
his name's not going to get on the poll. Mark, I won't let that happen. Massachusetts person.
Mark's out.
I got you. I got you, boo.
All
right.
All right. Finally. Her name is
the lovely pajamas.
not all the storytellers' first name is the same letter as their state. For example, Chetter and Georgia, C and G. But our final storyteller, and was also our very first of the evening, Marie in Minnesota. There's kind of an alliteration there. I just wanted to point that out. You don't have to do that to be part of the slam, but it's just something I observed. Let me stop talking if that's possible. Spotlight Marie.
Originally from Massachusetts,
There you go.
vacationing in Maine.
Yes.
After I explained why sometimes people are bullies and they hurt gay and lesbian men and women, but not always, I assured my niece. The next vacation was they came to Minnesota. So what did I do? Shawn, the other Shawn, my partner, was a minister. And she was closeted and I was not. And we go to her church and I say to my niece, oh so quietly, do I get time for my dog?
We'll make some adjustments. I'm timing the time. Yeah, go ahead.
So I say to my niece quietly, look at the woman. Do you see the woman playing the organ? And she said, yes. Do you see the woman turning the pages? Yes. They're married. No one has hurt them. No one has killed them. They're okay. And what does Kelly do? In front of a church sermon in a Methodist church, she yells, they're married? And the whole church turns. Boom.
Thank you, Marie. She actually did not even need more time. It worked out.
No.
Fortunately, and hey, sometimes when you're telling a story, you know, you got to do something, stay in the moment, take care of that something. In this case, it was a dog, and then come back to your story. That's no easy thing to do. I'll tell you that.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But it was done.
I don't think so.
Yes.
All right. So we did have one other person, Mark in Massachusetts, just wanted to say who Eminem, but that doesn't affect scoring.
No.
Now we fortunately no one went over time.
Woo-hoo!
So what we'll do is we will you'll do the recap, then there'll be a poll, people will vote, and before we announce the winner, we'll give the storytellers an opportunity to share with everyone here what they're up to. Some of them have events, maybe they're teaching a class or they're doing something. And then we'll announce our winner and then we'll have what we call a little salam. We can hang out a little bit. That's optional, but we'll sort of formally end the event after that. But without further ado, let's start with Neshama and go all the way to Marie.
You got it. So Neshama has this wonderful Tempur-Pedic bed now that every time she rolls over in it, she gives thanks. MJ went to lunch in Italy after a crazy week. and had a wonderful time talking to a waiter, even though they didn't quite understand each other, but grazie, that they understood. Christine wanted to be the WBGG and was trying to tell her landscaper or the person that cut down a tree that the tree was going to fall in the right place, and it did. So Nature's Way truly is wonderful. Mark, all I have to say is a carton of Metamucil and marbles. That's what he ate. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so Shawn threw down with Tammy and Lawanda and the ladies out there when they were fighting. You know, he didn't know he could hit him back, but then Mom said it was okay. Chetter talked about how the cab driver came in and decided to order things in a very specific way, and they realized why afterwards. He had no front teeth. Barbara in Chicago, again, you know, if she is a first Q in a brown belt in karate, she can kick their ass, but not so much when she's drunk. And you know what? Kent loved her anyway and loves her anyway. And Marie made sure that her niece knew that people who are the same sex were married could have very happy lives without being hurt. But then Kelly made sure the whole church knew that they were married.
Mary, always marvel at your ability to summarize. The blurbification of these stories is not easy.
No.
At all, but you always do a good job. Well, when, you know, I don't know if people realize you're doing other things as well. You're multitasking.
I am.
So let us first launch the poll.
Yep.
So it's as fresh as it can be in people's minds. You'll have a vote, and then we'll ask the storytellers if they'd like to make a couple of announcements, and then we'll announce our winner. Cool.
That sounds delightful.
All right, cool.
Quite a night for me.
Yeah, well, here we go. Ready?
All right, do it.
We're gonna go. Let's have everyone vote. We truly do need everyone to vote, and we are off.
Woot. Off and running. You know, I think Mr. Munchkin had said earlier about he wanted to vote for more than one, and I could see that because I would want to vote for more than one in this round too.
Yeah,
they're all delightful. Look at those votes coming in. Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Or boom, boom, boom. Either way.
Yeah.
However you want to look at it. 2 more people can vote. So make sure that you vote.
We're looking at the scores.
Yeah.
We appreciate everyone being here.
Yeah.
Oh
my goodness, yeah.
We appreciate everyone's flexibilidad. And well, so let's give it another 15 seconds. There's a couple more people that can vote. And if you're a storyteller, in a moment, we shall ask if you want to share with the audience stuff you're up to, story-related stuff, ideally.
Yeah.
All right, let's end it.
All right, let's do it.
We're not going to announce it just yet. We're going to drag this baby out because that's what we do.
We're a little dramatic, y'all, if you haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
What?
I will. Have I ever announced the winner? I'm not going to do it just yet. I don't think I've ever announced the winner. So maybe I will do it this time.
Why don't you do it, Shawn?
Before we do that, we have had 8. So thank you to our audience, of course, Queen Mary, and our 8 storytellers. If you're a storyteller, you can put your hand up or use a little hand icon. Just want to let us know real quick. Are you doing maybe you're in a show or you're doing a class or you're producing an event? Let us know about it. Does that apply to anybody? Marie, what do you have? And then we'll go to Chetter and then Mary Jo.
Hi, please follow me on Marie Cooney Stories on Facebook. The 99-second story has been a great way to create short ads of my story or little trailers for the Fringe Festival. So if you follow Marie Cooney gives you too much information. Marie Cooney Stories is just stories.
Got it.
So, thanks for the experience of shortening stories.
Oof.
The challenge.
Indeed. I don't know if I got the order right, so I'm just going to go what I see on my screen. Well, Mary Jo, what do you got?
May 31st, Phoenix Moth Grand Slam.
Ooh.
If anybody's in Phoenix on May 31st, get your ticket now. They're hot tickets.
Hot. Phoenix, after all.
Right.
Everything's hot.
Right. And I can't think of anything where I'm telling stories, just volunteering. Okay.
The Grand Slam's enough.
I mean, it's big.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
probably competitive.
Probably a little bit.
All right.
Maybe.
We are gonna Chetter.
Okay, just two things. On June 23rd, I'll be performing with 6 Feet Apart Productions, doing braided stories, a personal story and a folk tale. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And on June 26th, my organization Kaumba will be having our Father Tales program from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, both on Zoom.
Sweet. Also, if any of this is interesting to you, maybe either put it in the link, but remember, you're not going to get the chat when you leave. So follow up. You could find the name. That's Chetter and Mary Jo. You should be able to see their names here if you want to learn more. We're going to go to Mark and then Christine, and then Mary's going to decide, do we let Richard? Yeah, we'll let him talk.
Of course.
Just kidding. Mark?
Okay, this coming Tuesday, there's a Moth Slam in Somerville, Massachusetts. And then on June 26th, Fugitive Productions is starting their summer series of storytelling at the Old Frog Pond Farm out in Harvard, Massachusetts. And I'm going to be telling in the June 26th one.
All right. Christine.
Well, Chet already told you about our, we used to call it Papa Tales, but it's about fathers. But I have a children's book called Something is Missing. This is, I think you can see it, can't you?
Yeah,
and
you got it. I think some of it.
I'll be doing 2 book signings. If you're in Atlanta, Buckhead Library on the 23rd of June, and the Evelyn Lowry Southwest Library on June 25th. It's a story about a little boy who's on a journey. Everything is hilarious in the story, but he can't laugh. And so he wants to know why something is missing. And at the end of the story, you find out what's missing.
And
wait. I sell my books like Jeff Bezos did. I haven't figured out yet how to get it on Amazon.
Right.
My brain, not the computer. So I'll figure it out, but I do sell them.
And as a storyteller / marketer, we don't get to know the ending here, do we?
No, you got.
We don't get to know how that happens with that kid. Nope. She busted her ass to figure out that ending. She's not going to just tell us.
No,
you got to read it.
I don't blame you.
It took 19 years to get this published while I was working.
My dear.
So, hey, no, I can't tell it.
Nope. Good for you for sticking with it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. And last but not least, I think, is Mr. Munchkin, if he's still here.
Is he here?
Of course I'm still here.
Okay.
So June 30th, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, I'm doing a show called Coyote Tales in Evans, Utah.
Wow.
And so you are allowed to throw a name in a hat, but they also select some storytellers ahead of time. And I have been asked to do that show. So yeah, Coyote Tales stories in Evans, Utah. And if you're out there in June, it's very close to Cedar City, Utah, where the Utah Shakespeare Festival goes on every summer and has for over 40 years. So
awesome.
If you live out west, it's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah. A lot of Mormons out there too.
Yeah.
Yes, there are.
And that's not a negative. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. A lot of Catholics in Mary's family. Fact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. A lot of cacti in Arizona. Fact.
Yeah. Facts.
Our winner this evening. Thank you everyone for being here. Wonderful stories as always. Appreciate the audience showing up.
Yes.
Of course, Queen Mary goes without saying. Always lovely to partner with you.
Yes.
Our winner this evening. Marbles and Metamucil and fucking elk. It's Mark in Massachusetts. Hey,
thank you.
He won. The kid won. The kid
Mhm.
won. And that's it. People win. And everybody else is not a loser. They're just not winners. Well, kind of they're losers.
They're
No,
non-winners.
they're not losers. You guys are fantastic. Thank you, Mark.
Amazing.
Great job. Thank you to our tellers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to our audience. We've thanked them all so many times. It's enough.
Yes. Thank
It's
you,
enough.
Shawn. Thank
Of
you.
course. Always happy to do this. I hope we keep doing it. We'll see what happens. We can do our best, but we want to make sure we have enough people who are interested in both telling and watching.
Agreed.
And I will formally end it.